Hello ladies and gents, in the final hours of the Coral Divide OPR map, I decided it was time to take my bow and get to work. I have actually been playing some other games at the moment, like Apex Legends, Overwatch 2, Schedule 1, and the new Oblivion remaster that dropped a couple days ago. Really enjoying that. But yeah, New World really hasn't been hitting for me due to the meta, the combat desync, and controller aim lock. Altogether, the game is kind of becoming a bit of a joke. I believe the devs are addressing aim lock somewhat, but to me personally, this means nothing unless there is actual change and that it's not better than actually aiming yourself. Anyway, I spam queued the preview for a few hours to get some decent clips and some thoughts about the map and the changes made to it since last time. If any of you remember me saying I was happy enough to keep playing New World, well, the issues that have been piling up have caused me to be incredibly burnt out from the game. Normally, even with almost zero content, I myself would be quite content if the combat didn't feel like the server was being hosted on an ancient PC with dial-up internet. Anyway, we will come back to some of those complaints momentarily, but the subject of this video is about the second iteration of the Coral Divide new OPR map, and I still hold a lot of the same opinions as last time, but there has been an ever so slight improvement overall to the map, but it is very underwhelming. Like, you wouldn't even be able to tell, really, queuing up like however long ago it was, 2 months ago, and then now you can't really tell. For example, the devs had claimed to clean up the map a bit and remove excess clutter, which I can tell a tiny bit from maybe like a 5% FPS boost, or maybe 10% from the last time the map was in rotation. But then you have bits of the map still looking like this. And really, if they want to improve performance, in my opinion, it would be totally worth just removing some of the character from the map to make it feel at least like a half playable experience. Now, for non-range folk, this might seem like overly critical of the performance on the map, but I'm telling you, if you go and play any other game where you need to aim to deal damage, it will feel significantly better than New World, especially when you compare to Coral Divide. There's points on this map where I'm legitimately dropping to about 60 FPS, and keep in mind, this is not a smooth and constant 60 FPS. This is a stuttery, muddy mess. Even though my PC specs should be more than capable of handling New World. Also keep in mind, I don't even play native 1080p. I play 1800 by 1080 or something like that. On all low graphics, with extra launch commands to make the game look even more ugly for performance, and after all of that, it still runs terribly. So, on to the topic of desync on this map. So, around the time of the first server merges, which was about 2 months ago, if I remember correctly, is when I really started to notice desync affecting OPR, open world, and wars a bit, but also they are just generally a lag fest for FPS and server-wise. But no matter what your weapon build is, desync is just going to feel horrible. There are things which will make you feel it less, like running 300 con so you have like the perma grit and you don't get CC'd by stuff, because CC is one of those things where when you get hit by a CC that's desynced, it feels awful. But you know, the desync is most definitely there. You know, whether you feel it or not, it's there. The reason I bring this up is because of the size of the new Coral Divide map. Since it's smaller, there's going to be more players, abilities, information loaded in for people, and basically it has more action in a more condensed area, which is exactly what makes the server struggle with combat and the client struggle with FPS. So desync in this map is actually worse than the old OPR map, unless of course you have 40 people all together in the same place, then it wouldn't matter. But your FPS would almost always be worse on Coral Divide in the same circumstances. But this isn't necessarily a fault of the map. Like, I wouldn't say, oh, the solution to this is to make the map bigger. I would say that it's a side effect of AGS not running their game on suitable servers and with their spaghetti code that is just kind of unfixable at this point. But it's certainly worth noting because we have to deal with that side effect, like whether it gets fixed or not. And the devs haven't acknowledged these problems, and there is no indication that they care to fix this. As a company that wants maximum profits, their product is a dead game. The OPR map is probably one of the last things the devs will do to try and please the player base. I know they released a dev video the other day talking about stuff, but talk is talk, it's not action, so like, I'll believe it when I see it. But it makes no sense for them to invest this much time and money into giving the players a coherent experience. It just doesn't. Now, onto actually critiquing the layout of the map. There's both pros and cons to it. I personally much prefer having all these nooks and crannies to escape around, use as cover, break up a sweaty 5-man that wants nothing more than my juicy buns. It's kind of impossible to break them up on the old map because it's
when
just
is he
like
gonna start taking damage?
a open slope with nothing on it. But in Coral Divide, you can outplay people with terrain a lot more, and that's a huge win for me. And back to the size of the map, even though steamrolls can happen on both maps, I feel like once a steamroll happens on Coral Divide, it's probably harder to make a comeback as the losing team. The reason being the side exits of spawn are super close to the main entrance. There isn't really enough space to run out of the side and start capping when the enemy spawn camping you literally have line of sight of you trying to leap out the side exit. Yeah, you have the invulnerability effect, but you'll feel like it runs out fast when there's 5 dudes trying to kill you. So maybe making the spawn a little bit bigger and extending around the sides a little bit more would be pretty beneficial. But yeah, I would say overall the size and the layout of the map is nice and fun, and I enjoy it. More so than the old map. Meta, so meta is meta. It's always going to be played if it's strong, which it is because it's meta. But the shorter line of sight throughout this map makes it much easier for a melee to jump on a ranged player and kill them without too much trouble. And the narrow lanes allow for certain AoE abilities to completely cover, which I find pretty annoying. You know, you've got your fireball, your pillar of fire, your meteor shot, it's all going to cover it, your rain of arrows, your poison shot, whatever other AoEs, like, you cannot escape it if they put the circle on you. Like, there's not enough width to move out of it. You can go only forwards or backwards, which is maybe a bit annoying, but like at least there are a lot of other options. So when it does get blocked off, you go backwards, and now you can go right, left, behind you. There's like multiple lanes. You can go up, down the verticality. So, you know, when you do get blocked off, it's not like the end of the world. So to conclude, this is likely going to be almost exactly what we get when Season 8 arrives. Maybe they'll fix that floating patch of grass finally, but I don't see anything else being added / removed unless someone has found something game breaking, like jumping outside the map or into the enemy spawn like last time. Yeah, this is it, ladies and gents. I'm so glad the devs finally made a new OPR map though. It is what we've been asking for a really long time. And this one has so much more character and, in my opinion, just straight up better map design than the old one. I know there's going to be a decent amount of people that disagree with me on that, but that's fine, it's preference. My argument being the old map is literally just a hill with 3 points on it. It's really bare bones. It's not like they had much competition on themselves to make a better map than their last one. It's just a real shame that the current meta is not fun, the combat is desyncy, and the game runs like someone with no legs. I did manage to get some pretty nice clips though. Even though I haven't really been playing for the past month, and I will admit I was actually having fun around 30% of the time when I was playing. So that's pretty impressive, all things considered. And a side note before I roll the rest of the clips and show my build at the end, I just want to say that I've been a bit more active in my Discord server lately, and I've been trying my best to make it a safe space for anyone that wants to join, organise some gaming, talk about gaming, share stuff, etc., whatever it is. So if you want to be a part of my community, click on the Discord invite link in the description below and we will welcome you. Just please don't be a dickhead. So enough yapping about the map. I'm going to go on and show you guys my bow rapier build and what I would change if I could change it. Okay, I've made my camera really small in hopes it doesn't cover anything, but the bow rapier build. I'm going to go over my gear first. So helmet, energizing evade shot, enchanted ward, shirking heals, featherweight with shirking heals on it, Gorgonite hand covers with hasted vigor, shirking heals and refreshing, Gorgon's leggings with shirking heals, shirking energy, refreshing, Gorgonite sabatons with Ellie aversion, shirking heals and pen rapid shot. If I had the keen speed boots, I'd put shirking heals on them, and I'd use these legs with hasted vigor, shirking heals, and shirking energy. And then I'd remake the gloves, and I would take off hasted vigor, and I'd put penetrating rapid shot. And maybe I'd change refreshing as well, but I'd probably keep the 2 out of 4, sorry, refreshing. And that's what I'd do for the armor. Bow, Boltcaster with plagued crits still, Gorgonite rapier with Omni evade, refreshing move, shirking lightning, stone form of course, Ankh with stam recovery, although this has been nerfed twice now and you're probably better off going protection, but I still haven't. Ring with healing breeze, lightning damage and hearty on it. Earring with healthy toast, refreshing toast and regenerating, and that is everything for my gear at the moment. Attributes wise, I'm going 430 dex, 25 focus and 200 con when I've eaten my roasted rabbit. So that's the attributes that I'm going for at the moment. Weapon mastery, this is my bow weapon mastery tree. I swapped the longer debuff for the haste when surrounded by 3 or more foes within 3 meters. And for the rapier, this is what I'm using. I did get a comment that I have now responded to on one of my other videos asking me why I use flourish and finish without any bleeds, and the reason is just the functionality of it. So you get staggering and pushing back enemies, but you also gain grit on both flourish and finish, and like the combination of this, the combination of having grit when you use it, staggering the enemy, and also the follow-up attack to go in any direction that you want, I think is better than flurry, but it depends. I feel like if you're going to go flurry, maybe you want evade, flurry, riposte. You could use evade, flurry, and flesh also, but I like these 3 abilities the most for outplaying with my build. And I think that's everything. I don't think I've missed anything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. And until next time, bye bye.